Hello everyone, back tuning in to the first update for the autumn of 2016. So we're going to get 8 long-range season models together, have our first look at where these models are trending for the coming season, for the autumn of 2016. Now remember, this isn't the final say on the matter by any means. There'll be another model update next month, and the final one will be in August. We'll be adding some analogues to these updates as well over the next few weeks. So certainly this isn't the final say on the matter, but it's just setting the picture really for where things are trending at the moment with these long-range models. Now we are short of a cover. We're short of the JMA long-range model. That doesn't cover the period yet. And we are also short of a couple of other models. We're short of APEC as well and the Russian model. So we haven't got all models assembled that we will have next month, and the final update in August. But we've got 8 of them, so certainly got enough to be coming on with. Right, I'll go around in a second. Before I get on with that, though, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all the pages. If you have a browser widgets and click through the links, you'll be helping to pay for the website, and thanks very much for doing that. There's video ads on most of the pages, which own content. When you watch them, they close back up again, and it does help to pay for GavsWeatherVids.com. Just say later on we'll be looking at ENSO. We'll be doing the June ENSO / La Nina update. So come back for that on the ENSO updates page this afternoon. Right, let's get on with the update. This first model is from Brazil. It doesn't quite cover the full period of the autumn. So this one is covering August, September and October. Now this 500 high dominance, it's always a little bit different because yellow and orange red, the bright colours extrapolate to low pressure, and blue extrapolates to high pressure, which is normally the other way round. But anyway, what we see on this chart is that we've got a trough of low pressure around Iceland and to the north of us, with a ridge centred in the Atlantic. I'm just seeing it's coming more or less through the country like that. So it is quite an unsettled one, this, I would have thought, with a westerly jet stream. And wouldn't be overly cold, but it would certainly be fairly unsettled, especially in the north and in the west of the country. The temperature anomaly is coming out close to average, so not a big deviation there for August, September and October. And the precipitation anomaly generally are going a little bit wetter than average in the north, near normal elsewhere. I think that's a pretty Atlantic-driven autumn that we're seeing there, and there'll be quite a bit of rain coming through. Maybe even later on, if that's to go on later on into the autumn, because it doesn't cover November at this stage. If it was to go on later into the autumn, could be thinking about autumn gales. Right, the rest of these models are going to cover the full autumn period, going from September through to November. This is the CFS V2 700 millibar height anomaly, and it's placing a trough of low pressure right over top of the country. Ridge is a long, long way away from us. It's way down in the central Atlantic with that area of yellow there. That's above average heights. The jet stream is through the country like that, and I think that is really quite unsettling indeed. There'd be bouts of rain coming through, showers no doubt as well. So yeah, that is a proper unsettled pattern there that we've got going on for the autumn on that one. The temperature anomaly is very close to average. Northeastern parts of Europe up here generally warmer than average. Elsewhere, temperature anomalies are coming out around average, so again no great deviation in terms of the temperature. Precipitation, unsurprisingly really, with a trough centred right over top of northwest Europe over UK, generally looking wetter than average, and particularly so, interestingly, for England and Wales and for France as well. So that possibly implies a bit of a southerly tracking jet stream doing something perhaps a little bit like that. So you've got low pressure up here and maybe slinking down here at times. That could allow some cooler air into that trough, and of course if that happens getting on into November, you can start to think a little bit about wintry conditions. NASA next. This is the experimental model from NASA. We'll start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly, and this one is placing, you have to go over here, it's placing a trough over Scandinavia and a bit of a ridge out to the west. So again, the jet stream could be on a bit of a northwest-southeast alignment here with this, doing something a bit like that. Whilst the trough is centred over Scandinavia, it could be relatively unsettled, particularly so for the north and the east, less so, of course, for the south and the west. Temperatures could be rather cool, I would have thought, although actually the model is going for warmer than average temperatures, or ever so slightly warmer than average. Anyway, I'm not sure about that. Given the setup in terms of the height anomaly, I'm not sure really why the temperatures would be warmer than average, but that's what it's going for. Anyway, it's very early days on all of this. The precipitation on it's generally near normal, although a little bit wetter than average for Scotland up there. Hugues van den Duyl next, our good friend Hugues, and these are analog-based forecasts, so it's not a model that's producing sort of a calculation type forecast. This is an analog, so Hugues has looked at the world sea surface temperature anomalies last month. It's generated last month back in May, and then from those sea surface temperature anomalies, it's extrapolated a forecast going forwards. Right, so what we see in terms of the height anomaly chart is that we've got generally above average heights around the UK, and a trough is over into central parts of Russia, so and in the Atlantic. So it means the jet stream is doing something like that. This is very anticyclonic. Indeed, the temperature anomaly is coming out significantly warmer than average, and because it places a ridge over us. Now in September, if you've got a ridge over country, it's going to be warm. If it's November, it will be cold because we'll have long nights with frost. So don't necessarily be taking that too literally. Could be transitional with a warm start and then a colder finish, something like that. But overall, the trend there is for a warmer than average autumn. Precipitation, interestingly, actually it's only coming out average. I would have thought that should be a little bit drier than that based on the height on it, but perhaps bouts of rain at times coming up from the southwest. The Canadian model next. So this is CanSIP. So we've already done CanSIPs. I think it's CanSIP Saturday, wasn't it? Or was it CanSIP Sunday? I can't remember. Anyway, we've already looked at this earlier on in the month. So I'm not going to dwell on it too long. But we've got a free monthly anomaly now at website topicaltidbits.com. You can find the link, Topical Tidbits, on the links page. So this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the Canadian CanSIP model for September, October, November 2016. And what we see with this is that we've got a ridge out to the west, an area of high pressure in the Atlantic and extending into the UK with low pressure to the north, and the jet stream is going to the north of the country as well. So for the south anyway, that could be relatively dry, would be more unsettling in the north. Of course, it is westerly, so there will be bands of rain coming down across the country at times. Temperature anomaly for the 3 months of the autumn, generally coming out close to average, not a great deviation again. And then the precipitation anomaly, that's coming out near normal, generally a little bit drier than average, out to the southwest where we've got that ridge of high pressure. But it does look quite Atlantic based. And then finally, we'll have a look at the UK Met. I've just got to close up on this a little bit, so I'm going to have to scroll inwards. Sorry about this, everybody. There we go. So this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the UK Met model. And again, very similar to the last one, actually, to CanSIP. So we've got ridging out to the west and to the southwest with low pressure up to the north. So this is a little bit of a trend. A few of these models have been showing this. We've probably got enough for a trend with a westerly jet stream and westerlies coming across the country from the Atlantic. It means that most unsettled conditions will be in the north. The driest weather will be down in the south. The precipitation anomaly, or I should say the temperature anomaly, is generally coming out above average, generally coming out with warmer than average temperatures this autumn with GLOSY 5, UK Met Office long range model. And the precipitation anomaly, that's coming out above average as well. So a wetter but warmer than average autumn is being signalled here, particularly so for the north. And then having a look at the Beijing Climate Centre. We've just got 2 more models to go, this one and Jamstack. So the Beijing Climate Centre is 500 high anomaly, is showing low pressure out in the Atlantic. A ridge is over to the east of the country. And we're doing something like that with the jet stream. So it looks, well, it's a bit of an east-west split, I think, that. There will be bouts of rain trying to come in off the Atlantic, but also got a fair amount of blocking sitting to the east of us. So your patient when you take your choice really about what that would mean. It could be relatively dry, and if it was to go on into November, quite cold. Alternatively, it could be really quite wet because this trough could be throwing up bouts of rain that then grind to a halt over the country as they run up against that ridge. Quite hard to decipher that one. The temperature anomaly looks a bit warmer than average in the north and a bit cooler than average in the south. Probably can't make that out all that well. Over Central Europe as well, it is a little bit cooler than average. And then the precipitation anomaly generally comes out significantly drier than average. So it does imply that that ridge is the dominating force to this autumn. Initially, that would be quite a warm ridge in September. If it was to persist to November, though, that would be a cold ridge. It would produce cold east-southeasterly winds off the rapidly cooling down continent. So, again, quite unusual on that one from Beijing Climate Centre. Hasn't really been backed up by any of the other models. And then finally, Jamstec IOD looking warmer than average with the temperatures this autumn. Actually, that's for the summer, so let's just go in a bit further to this is the autumn chart. And sorry about that, folks. So this is the autumn chart. Generally comes out a bit warmer than average or slightly above average with the temperatures and the precipitation. That one's looking at hinting at, anyway, being a little bit drier than average, near normal to a little bit drier than average is the signal there for precipitation. So it's a mixed bag, as it always is. The first update is always a bit of a mixed bag. I suspect we'll have a firmer sort of grasp on things for next month's update. But within that variability of these models, we can say it's a little bit of a trend, which is for a westerly autumn, and that produces generally fairly mild temperatures, but also potentially quite a wettish autumn. I think that's the trend overall, because that's cropped up a few times as we've gone through this update, but not enough to be anywhere near confident about it, and too early anyway. So we'll do the second autumn 2016 update next month. The last one will be in August. There'll also be some analogues to add to that as well. And then at the end of August, we will, of course, produce the GasWeatherViz.com Autumn 2016 forecast. Okay, that's all for now. Later on this afternoon, we're looking at ENSO, see what's going on in the Pacific Ocean. So come back this afternoon. That's all for now, and thanks for watching. Before I go, though, nearly went out ahead. Before I go, very interesting about next week. Next Sunday, the 3rd of July, we're going to be doing the NAO forecast, North Atlantic Oscillation forecast, for the winter of 2016-2017. So that's the first step, if you like, on the road to the winter updates. I used to do it at the start of June. I pushed it back to the start of July this year. People have been asking where it's got to. It will be with you next Sunday. On the 3rd of July, you'll be able to see what the first step is for winter 2016-2017. So come back for that next week. Right, I'm off properly this time. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.